Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in to Tea with Lady DJ. Welcome in. I was almost on time. Welcome in. It's so good to have you to come back and join me tonight as we continue on in PNC. Welcome in. As you're coming in, please, will you tap the screen, please? Get your daily heartbeats. Get all of your points as you're coming in. You know my goal is always to get at least 20,000 likes. I hope my music is not too loud for you. You all know how I do it. It just gets me to that place of to come down, to relax, because I always get so nervous when I come before you guys. I get so very nervous. But if you would, please, that little arrow at the bottom, would you share this out in your stories, please? If you share that out in your stories, or just share it out, please. I'm going to put my glasses on. I feel like I look a mess. My allergies are affecting my eyes, and they're tearing all over the place. And last night, I was pushing my glasses up, and a dear friend thought I flipped him off because I was pushing my glasses up with that finger. So, you all, I'm not flipping anyone off. It's just a habit, okay? So welcome in. Have you had a good day? I went back over the comments. See, I don't look at the comments as you all are coming in or as you're posting, because it gets me cattywampus, out of focus. And so I try not to look at it. But let me tell you this. I don't know if you all know. I have some outstanding moderators. Oh my God. Are they ever wonderful? They adhere to my wishes. And that is, at this church, we don't lock the doors. So if I am not your cup of tea, and that's okay, they will allow you to leave. But they're not going to block you. But if you're chatter in the chat, and we do want you all to talk back and forth with each other, but if your chatter is unbecoming, they will, hey there, BPU, how are you? They will mute you. You know why they're just going to mute you? Because they feel like I do, that I'm about to offer you something that you may not know, and that it might help you to navigate this dating. It might help you date better. And what I am going to ask tonight, because it's not to say that you don't know what PNC is, but I'm on this platform. I want to give you permission to think differently. And that's what my coach says to me. Permission to think differently. Let's think differently. And the only way we can think differently is understanding what is going on with us. What is going on? What does that mean? Well, last night, can you hear that? It is so relaxing. Last night, we talked about how PNC manifests itself in men. And it was just like that. It was easy to understand. It was easy to wrap our brains around. But we do understand that we as women can be quite complicated. And so, as I was saying, I went back through the comments last night to see. Oh, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Thank you. I went back to see if there was something that you wanted to ask, or you wanted answered. How can I answer that for you? But there was this one person that said, "Tell it all," because I was picking this and not that, because I didn't want to misuse or abuse your time with me. And I know that attention spans, as is for children, adults, it's limited. So tonight I was going to go over, and I am going over, how does PNC manifest itself in us as ladies. And it's not all, but there are quite a few of us. And so what I'm asking you is that I want you to dialogue back and forth, but I want you to intentionally listen. Because when you intentionally listen, you can apply it to you. And that's what we're talking about. We're not trying to fix somebody else. We're trying to make us a better person that person would want to be in a relationship with. And we can't do that unless we know us better. Does that make sense to you all? Just put a 1 in the chat if it makes sense to you as you're coming in. So this will, thank you, it makes sense. This will not be the end of PNC. As the person said to me in the comments that I read last night after leaving you all, the person said, "Tell it all." And in order for you to digest it well, I can't give you a whole bunch all at once, because like feeding a baby, if I give you too much, it's going to be too much on your stomach, and what do? You upchuck it. So that part that you need to hold is going to come back up. So I'm going to give you tonight, we're going to talk about how does PNC manifest itself in women. And when I tell you that I went through it on myself, on me, because I'm never going to share something with you that I haven't experienced or gone through. This is something. What is PNC? Hold on to that thought. I'm going to share it with you in just a minute. So, D, if you're here, will you join me for just a second? If DB Wright is here with me. I don't know if she's here yet. But Mr. Radio, I see you here. Galathea, welcome in. Mr. Radio, I will ask you to join me. It'll probably be close to 10:30 like last night. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much. Galathea, BPU, Miss Javon. I'm going to have my glasses on because I can feel my eye tearing. Now, do I look like a school teacher? Anyway, I saw Bull City. Yeah, welcome in. All of you. I'm so glad that you all chose to come back and join me. On Tuesday night at the same time, we're going to talk about what PNC looks like the morning after. Yes, the morning after. Baby, and I need you all to be honest with yourself. I need you to be honest with yourself. You don't have to say, yeah, that's me, but I need you taking some notes while you're tapping the screen, okay? Are we ready? Do you have your tea? Do you have your tea? So let me turn the music off and let's get started. Last night, we talked about what is happening to our bodies. What is happening to our bodies? I'm about to tell you. I need you to be patient and listen closely. Can you all hear me okay? Because I know I am very soft-spoken. Can you hear me okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. I hope. Can you? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So, what's happening to our bodies after an orgasm? Don't grab your pearls. Don't grab your pearls. This platform is for 35 and up, grown folk. And we don't say smex, we say the word sex. We say intimacy. We are grown folk here. And we're going to talk with, we're going to watch our words. We are. Okay? So after an orgasm, there is a significant change in the brain. A significant change in the brain. The dopamine levels drop sharply after peaking during arousal and climax. Then the prolactin in our bodies increases, which suppresses the dopamine and creates that sensation of satisfaction and reduces sexual desire. This sudden shift can create a noticeable change in the mental state. During sexual arousal, the prefrontal cortex of your brain, which is responsible for decision making, impulse control, and rational thinking, shows reduced activity. Stay with me. So the blood flow and the mental resources are directed elsewhere. Yeah. How do you get that erection? How does that woman start to prepare to receive you? The blood flow and all of that is directed elsewhere in our body. After the orgasm, as arousal fades, the executive function area comes back online fully. It's like a sudden power, what do you call it? When you have a power surge and it just shuts down everything. So it shuts down your brain. And then after this happens, then it comes back online and everything is back online, right? This might explain why sometimes feel like they can suddenly think more clearly or rationally about decisions they are considering. So, I don't know what this means. Live visibly restricted. Your live is not eligible for recognition. I don't know what that means. So my live was restricted. I don't know what that means. D or anyone, I don't know what that means. So anyway, as we're going on, so your thinking is off kilter. It is off kilter. And with that, we have PNC, which is post nut clarity. Post nut clarity. That's what the PNC stands for. Post nut clarity. So we talked about the changes that happen in men. We talk about the changes that happen in men. Sudden loss of sexual interest, questioning their decision or attractions, feeling emotionally distant or wanting space. That classic, why did I think that was a good idea moment. Hold on just 1 second. Oh, is that why? Mr. Radio, will you come up and explain it to me, please? And we're going to take a moment out for just a minute. Okay, I'm listening.
Hey, Miss Donna, what's happening? I've been summoned. What's going on with you?
Well, Mr. Radio had answered me. Let's
Okay.
see. Hold on just a second.
hmm
Mr. Radio. Hello.
Yeah, they reduce the visibility of the live because of certain words that you say. If you say a certain word, then they'll start um, turning down the funnel on how many people can actually see the live in the FYP.
Okay, but I have a statement that says that this is for 35 and up.
The algorithm don't see statements and all of that stuff. If they hear it and then they hadn't bothered you in a minute, it'll happen.
Okay, yeah, because they have not before. I had not received that kind of statement.
It all depends on when TikTok decides to mess with you. That's all it is.
What
So
was the statement, Miss Donna?
it said restriction for the FYP or something. What did I say? I read it. And it said I could appeal it.
Yeah, you can appeal it. No, they reduced the visibility of her live because when she first started off, she had over 100 and something odd people in here.
Uh-huh.
And then after she said the schmegs, the next thing you know, boom, she gets the thing, and
Oh,
then she's down from 100 people down to 40. So
yes.
they dwindled down the amount of people that can actually be in or actually see the live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened. It happens. You just been fortunate, blessed to be able to do it, but that's what has happened.
Because I've always said there is a statement that will scroll through and that they approve because that I submitted that this is for 35 and up. I have the 18 of the little thing on all of that
Mm-hmm.
because this is an adult setting. This is not for children. And I didn't even realize I had that many persons in here. Mr. Radio, I don't,
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at numbers or anything like that. I just have things that I need to get out to you all. Uh, so I had 100 and some persons here.
Before you got that, you had 115 people in the room.
151.
Wow. Well, maybe we'll get back up there nevertheless.
And Galathea put 167, so it was fluctuating. So you had a lot of people in your room.
Oh, okay. Could they have been children?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Anyway, we are not going to allow that to disturb us, right?
right.
We're gonna move on, and I'm gonna get back to it.
Okay.
Mr. Radio, I'll have you to come back up in just a few. Let's see who else has something to say. And we will continue on. Miss G or Miss O, for right now, ladies that are asking to come up, I'm not accepting anyone in the box, only those persons that were going to give me clarity. And I thank you, but for right now, I'm just going to do this, okay? Thank you for wanting to come up. Thank you for wanting to come up. And in back to the regularly stationed program. Okay, so men more commonly report that they have these feelings: sudden loss of sexual interest, questioning their decisions or attractions, feeling emotionally distant and wanting space. That classic, why did I think that was a good idea moment. Sometimes even feeling regret or shame, especially if the encounter did not align with their values. That part. But tonight we're going to talk about how PNC might manifest itself in early intimacy, in the early stages of dating with women. How does it do that? Okay? So it typically shows up, and since this on women is so much to get understanding of us, because we all are complicated beings, but getting an understanding of us as a woman helps us to date better. And I know that this right here has helped me. So I'm prayerful, excuse me, that it will help you as well. Okay? So you got your pens out while you're tapping the screen? Can you tap and write? Okay. This typically shows up in women, the clarity moment. The clarity moment. When women do experience PNC, when, because not all, but there's quite a few, it often manifests itself as suddenly seeing the person more objectively, flaws or incompatibilities that were overlooked become glaringly obvious. They become glaringly obvious. Questioning, wait, do I actually like him? Or was I just lonely, horny, or bored? I don't know. Do I? Recognizing red flags that arousal was masking. That moment of clarity. Recognizing red flags that arousal was masking. Feeling regret about moving too fast or choosing the wrong person. Can you see some of that? Have you had that in a relationship, that you were intimate too fast, too soon, and you experienced some, if not all, of those things going on? Now, the difference from men's experience, women tend to be more emotionally focused, less about loss of physical attraction, more about, is that person right for me emotionally? Is that person right for me emotionally? Delayed, it might hit hours or even a day later rather than immediately. That's the difference. Remember that in men and women? It's that it might hit hours or even days later rather than immediately. Mixed with oxytocin. And what is oxytocin? That's that binding that's going to want you to bond with this person, creating confusing feelings of both clarity and doubt. and attachment and bonding at the same time. It's a whole cluster. You know the what goes behind cluster. It's a whole cluster going on in our head. A whole cluster. Socially complicated. Women often feel more pressure to make it work or stay connected, even after sex, even when clarity tells them otherwise. Even the pressure to make it work. Even though he left, he said, "Thank you. Dude, sister, was good." But when all of this is going on, we want to make it work. The common manifestations in early dating, the internal conflict. There's an internal conflict that's going on. Hey, Muhammad, how are you? How are you? Many women report feeling torn between two simultaneous reactions. The brain, this is the right person for me. This is not the right person for me. That's clarity. Our bodies, the emotions, but I feel attached now. That's what the oxytocin is doing. It's causing you to want to bond with this person. When you said you went in, it's like, I can do this. I just need my itch scratched. But once you did it, the chemical in our brain, in our bodies, change. And now we see it differently. We're wanting to bond with that person. Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you so much. We're wanting to bond with that person. This can be real confusing and lead to staying in situations longer than they should or second guessing their own judgment. Have you ever stayed in a situation longer than you should? These are the self-reflections. These are the things that you need to be honest with yourself about, with you. Have you stayed in something that you knew you should have gotten out immediately thereafter, but you didn't? And then comes along the yuck factor. Yuck. Sometimes PNC in women shows up as a sudden yuck. Small things that didn't bother them before suddenly feel unbearable. The way he chews, a particular phrase he used, his apartment isn't set up right. Things that seemed fine and even charming now feel like deal breakers. Have you gone through it? Let's be honest with ourselves. The only way we can become better is to be honest with ourselves. Anxiety and overthinking, rather than withdrawing like men often do, women's PNC sometimes manifests as overanalyzing every detail of the encounter. Overanalyzing every detail of the encounter. Because what do men do? They're distant. They are emotionally distant. They want their space. So what does the woman do? She overanalyzes every detail. Was I too fat? Did I not have on the right things? Did I not do what he wanted? Did I not? Seeking reassurance through texting or wanting to define the relationship. Okay, so we slept together early on in the relationship. He kept his promise. His promise was, okay, you know what we're doing. We both have a mutual need. But when it's all over with, it's thank you very much. That was the understanding. But now, after the fact, You're wanting to define the relationship. So what are we doing? We're doing just what I said we're going to do. Thank you very much, and I'm out. Worrying about what is he thinking? What does he think of me because I slept with him on the first date? Well, he's not thinking anything. He's out just like he said he would be. Nothing more, nothing less. Just, hey, bam, welcome in. Just like what he said. Feeling anxious about the future of the connection. We've already made it a connection when it was just supposed to be satisfying that itch. It was supposed to be just satisfying that itch. And then, after the fact, PNC, we're thinking connection. Connection. No. The standards check. PNC can trigger some women to suddenly evaluate whether this person meets their actual standards versus just being available and attractive, with questions like, does he actually respect me? That's that morning after thing. Did he actually respect me? Is he emotionally available? Am I settling? Was I just trying to fill a void? All of these standards that you had, and they went right out the window. But after the fact, now there's all of these thoughts and questions. And again, it's a cluster. It's a major cluster. Behavioral changes. When women experience PNC in the early dating, they might pull back emotionally, become less responsive to texts, less enthusiastic about plans, creating distance, similar to men, but often with more guilt about it. Guilt. We guilt trip ourselves, become more discerning, suddenly having higher standards, or being less forgiving of things that don't align with what they want, did you hear what I said? With what they want. Because they have decided, this is what I'm going to do. And it should get me this. But it didn't. So, being less forgiving of the things that don't align with what they want. We're talking about PNC and how it manifests itself in women. Not all women, but there are some. Ending things abruptly. If the clarity reveals fundamental incompatibility, some, not all, will cut things off quickly rather than stringing someone along. Try to force a connection. Can you, as a man, say that you had a tryst, and after it was all over, they wanted to make it something that was not your intentions. That was not how it was communicated, if it was communicated at all. But now they want to force a connection, fighting against the clarity because they feel they should like this person, or because oxytocin is creating attachment despite doubts. seeking external validation. If you be honest with yourself, you've done this one. Seeking external validation, calling friends to debrief and ask, do you think he's right for me? Because their own signals are confusing. So you bring someone else in and you tell them a half true, which is a whole lie, because you are now the victim. And he just walked out and he hasn't called and he hasn't texted and he has not done this, and this, when you both were consenting adults and you knew that it was just going to be for right then. And he, hey Scott, how are you? And he hasn't said anything else to you to indicate, he has not defined it for you, but you have decided, I need to make this work and I'm going to force it to work. So I call up my girlfriend. What do you think? Well, I shouldn't think anything, and I shouldn't even get into it, because you made this decision without me. Now why do you want to bring me into the midst of this mess? Because you made this choice. PNC. The shame factor. Women often experience more shame and self-judgment around casual intimacy, which can make PNC more complicated, can make it more complicated. Clarity might be mixed with regret and having sex too soon. They might blame themselves rather than simply recognizing incompatibility. Incompatibility. The desire to make it mean something can override the clarity signal. We're going to make it mean something. We're going to force it. There are positive aspects of PNC. PNC in some women, not all, can really be valuable. Reality checking, chemistry versus compatibility. You have to be in that mindset. Protecting themselves from pursuing someone who isn't genuinely interested. So when you're protecting yourself from pursuing someone who is genuinely not interested, this is before. For women, we are clear. We are clear with everything. We are clear how we feel. We are clear until we give in, until we cannot find our no, until our itch becomes the ruling factor. And when it does, but when you can find your no, then PNC, which is pre, P-R-E, nut clarity, happens. Honoring their needs rather than going along with what someone else wants. Honoring their needs. I need affection, but I need it from the one. I need it from that one. So I'm going to say thank you, no, not this time. Because that's something that you want. And it's okay. I'm not any worse for wear by saying thank you, no, and moving on. Because there's going to be someone that's going to understand where you are And you're going to be firm on your boundaries, your core value, your worth. You will be. But when you lose your no, then we have all of those other things. The post, right? Trusting their gut when something, I got hair on me, when trusting their gut when something feels off. When something feels off. I shared with you last night how the gentleman, he was finer than frog hair. Remember me telling you? And he smelled good. And he looked good. And that suit was, he was wearing that suit. I had said to him that I don't like to have conversations that have sexual overtones. I don't like that. And I thought he understood because we still had great conversation. But it was the time then we met face to face. And he leaned in really close just enough so I could inhale him. And he says, I am hypersexual. And I'm thinking, what the dickens? Did I lead you to say something like that? Now I am trying to quietly go back into the conversations. Am I having an out-of-body experience here? No, I was not. And Mr. Radio, he explained it to me. Mr. Radio, if you're still here, do you want to explain to them what you said to me about that occasion?
Yeah, sure. It's simply he was letting you know exactly who he was. He was putting it down to you. The whole thing was he was basically setting you up for the takedown later on, as we would say. The leaning in, the actual smell. He knew how he looked. The touching, the kissing, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, he was
Touched
setting you
my
up.
hair, you guys. He touched my hair. I mean, he. Mhm.
Yeah, it's a setup. Yeah, he was getting you set up for the boudoir. He wasn't gonna force you or nothing like that, but he was putting all little factors in place so that way when you did get somewhat aroused, he has all this extra stuff already set up there for you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's all it is. He was getting you in position.
So, me trusting my gut, me trusting, me honoring me. I said thank you, no thank you. I hit my Uber app on my phone. They came and picked me up, and I went home because my no was no. And he wanted to know later what happened. What happened was is that you crossed the line. You crossed for me. So that's the reason why I say to you all, have those things in place before you decide that you're ready to date. Our PNC will be, yeah, red flags to watch for in themselves, in yourself. Women should pay attention if their PNC consistently shows every person seems perfect until after sex, then suddenly it isn't. Using sex to try to create emotional connection that isn't there naturally. Ignoring major incompatibilities because of physical chemistry. Feeling regret every encounter might indicate not being ready for casual intimacy. That's what I'm saying. You're going to have to do some self reflecting. You're going to have to sit with you and look at the relationships that you've been in and go through this. And go through this with you. As I said before, if you're coming in late and you missed this, it's okay because I will be uploading it on YouTube, which is you, me, and T with Lady D. You, me, and T with Lady D. So that you can sit by yourself and go back over these things and journal. Look at what the men, how they feel. Have you noticed any of these things in the men? Because it is important. It is there. It is there. And earlier today, there was a lady, and respectfully, she said with her full throat that she just thought that these persons were double-minded, and but then as she continued to talk, she realized that last week she had an encounter with PNC. And respectfully, she admitted it. First of all, that she didn't know exactly what it was. And then after getting an understanding, after listening, and that's what we have a tendency to do. Oh, that's double-minded. You don't really know what it is. So we need to be still and listen. And it might be you. You might indeed have experienced it. Might. Then there comes the communication challenge. Just like with men, women often do not communicate what they're experiencing. Often. They might ghost or fade rather than explaining they're not feeling it. How much easier would it be to learn how to communicate? Yeah, we did this, but I'm sorry. This is not for me. And make it kinder and gentler. We don't have to say, is that all you had to give? Is that all you working with? I spent my time with you and that's all you got. Think about it. If men were as curt with women as women are with men, think about that. How would you like that said to you? How would you prefer to be let down, rejected? However you want to label it, how would you prefer? To give you closure. Women always have to have closure. I need closure. Well, he needs to tell me why. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to tell you anything. That's what you want. And why do you want it? Because you want to continue to have that connection with that person. Because why? You want to make it work. I want to force it to work. And I can't force it to work if there's no communication, no in each other's space. Stay in situations out of politeness while internally checked out. Now that's serious. So that makes that old country song, you're here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. Has that ever been you? Because out of politeness, you stay in a situation, but you have internally checked out. For whatever reason, you stay in that. You're a homosexual. You have nowhere else to go. The thought of, I'm going to have to get back out there and see if I can find someone else that I am sexually, emotionally compatible with. I've got to start all over with again. So I'll just stay here. Yuck. Mhm. Send mixed signals because they themselves are confused. Have you ever dealt with that type of person? She's sending mixed signals because she's confused. A product of PNC. A product of PNC. In healthy early dating, when a woman experiences PNC and still feels good about the person, when clarity confirms, yes, I genuinely like this person, that's actually a great sign. It means the connection is real beyond just physical attraction. Context matters. Women, women's PNC can be heavily influenced by where they are in their menstrual cycle. Where they are in their menstrual cycle. Because now we have hormones on hormones. There's a conflict that's going on. Hormones on hormones. Their attachment style. Past relation experiences. Whether they felt emotionally safe during the encounter. All of this is going on. But you didn't hear me mention all of this in a man, right? It, it's typical of a man. It's black and white, maybe sometimes gray. But women, oh, all over the place. All over the place. The quality of the sex itself. Unfortunately, if it wasn't satisfying, clarity often hits harder. If it wasn't satisfying, clarity often hits harder. The bottom line is women absolutely experience PNC, but it's often more emotionally complex and conflicted than the more straightforward loss of interest that men stereotypically report. Did you see that? That men stereotypically report. The key is learning to distinguish between the two. And so I did it by 10:30. So what I say in the end is normal post intimacy hormone fluctuations, ride them out. Genuine incompatibility signals, trust your gut. Anxious attachment activation, work on it. Are there any questions? I did it. Are there any questions? Anyone that would like to come up in the box and join me? I saw Scott. You want to come up and join me with Mr. Radio? Galathea, you want to come up and join me?
Hello. Hey, hey,
Hi.
the
How are
radio. I'm doing okay.
Welcome in, brother.
What's up,
Billionaire,
bro?
you came, you joined me.
Yes.
Billionaire, I see you. I talked about you, how I respected your listening to me this morning and then gracefully changing your mindset of how we talked about this.
Mhm.
I appreciated that. Billionaire, do you want to join me? Did you get to come in to hear enough of it? Let's see. We've got Billionaire and Galatia
Yep.
and
Good evening, everyone. How are you? I'm watching football.
that's okay. I
Uh,
think that
Giants.
It,
Yeah, I'm watching the
it,
Giants
it,
and the Eagles game.
I was gonna
I just
say,
got out of school about 9 o'clock, so I only got the second half.
are the Giants winning?
Yes.
Yes, they are. I
Um,
thought they was gonna get swept by the Eagles. I was so wrong.
I thought so
Again,
too.
for the second time today, lady.
I was talking about you, billionaire. When I was talking about PNC
Hmm.
Uh huh.
and how you graciously, after getting an understanding,
Correct.
how
Correct.
you thought about
I
it
didn't.
and
I
how
didn't know what it was. I never heard of it before. So when she was giving the understanding of it the first time, but my first thought process was that was a person of an unstable mindset. But when she really broke it down and I listened and everybody got quiet and she was telling me what it was, I finally decided, I was like, okay, now I have a better understanding. So I retracted what I said the first time. So it was a good lesson for me today to understand what that means.
and you were so gracious, and I thank you for that. You were so gracious,
Listen, when wisdom speaks, you listen.
and
Hmm.
and I share this. I share this. You know, Galatia. Hold on, just a second. Galatia. I am so glad that I did not see those numbers up there because I would have had a whole moment, and they would have got to see me stutter for real. Okay,
Yeah, I purposely, hello everyone, good evening.
Good
I
Hello.
evening.
purposely didn't mention it to you because I didn't want to see you stumble. But that's the highest that I saw was like 167. But as soon as you said that word, it started to go
push
down
your heart.
immediately.
Oh my goodness! And you know, it's not the first time that I've said that word.
I'm not sure with the new rules if it's acceptable. That's why everyone else uses the alternative word that you stated prior to.
Smacks. Okay. I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel. I'm going to appeal it. Yes, it said I could, so I'm going to appeal it. I am indeed because we are adults and we're talking. And if I say that these, I'm going to appeal it. So I'll put it on paper. But how did you feel about hearing what's happening with women? Galathea? I know she's working. Scott, did you get to hear
Yes.
some? Did you get to hear some of what was said?